What's going on, everybody? Vince Goodrum here. It is Tuesday afternoon, just having myself a little bit of lunch. Sitting in the Jeep, as you could tell up top. Yep, I have to get a new liner for it though, so I've just stripped that down. But anyway, back to the video. The reason why I want to make this is because some of you guys have been asking what is the chances of Flex Lewis up there doing well in the Mr. Olympia, and there's been a lot of arguments there in this particular case between Flex being a little bit too small for the division by people like Dexter Jackson, which guys, don't read too much into it. Don't read it as any hate or throwing any shade against Flex Lewis there. I mean, when it comes to bodybuilding, I think we're all grown folks. We're professional enough to have our discussions as well as to voice our opinions, and they can either be accepted or not, though. Quite frankly, I think that, Flex Lewis, he has won that Mr. Olympia 212 division over and over again. And I think it's time for him to actually change because he's won all those titles. And I think at this present time, Flex Lewis could actually win the Mr. Olympia. And here's the reason being. Phil Heath is already on a downslope as far as it's concerned. I mean, let's just face it. He's not going to, more than likely, he isn't going to be in a very weak position this year, as well as possibly next year. I don't see him actually winning against a Flex Lewis. And here's the reason being there. Because you guys have seen him at those restricted sizes there, because he's actually had to pull weight dozens of times in order to compete at that show. Now that Flex Lewis has no weight limits whatsoever, you can expect him to come in at full size there. And, Flex Lewis actually has the physique to be a legitimate giant killer. He can definitely win a lot of these mid-level shows there, such as the New York Pro. So, I can actually see him winning the Mr. Olympia. Based upon that, based upon, his appearances as winning the Mr. Olympia 212 there. I mean, so what if he's shorter and he is less size? He has no more weight restrictions anymore. So that means he can put on some extra muscle, and he has a capability of beating Phil Heath, Big Ramy, Ruley Winkler, or anyone else here. You have to understand, when it comes to a bodybuilding show, every single competitor has the chance of winning Mr. Olympia. You guys can talk politics all you want there, but the truth of the matter is, if Flex Lewis is on stage, then he has just as much of an opportunity as anyone else to win the Mr. Olympia, period. And that's something that simply cannot be argued. So, in my opinion, yes, Flex Lewis can win the Mr. Olympia. Not only because he's going to be on stage, he's going to obviously have a chance, but, I think that he can actually beat Phil Heath on stage. That's just my opinion there. And I think it's a great idea. Who cares if these guys from Iraq and Iran are charging there? Who cares about the Camel Crew? Unfortunately, I don't think Donald Trump is going to let them in the country in order to actually compete to begin with there. But, Flex Lewis, he's already been there. He's done it. He's won that lightweight division of the Mr. Olympia so many times. There's nothing left for him to actually accomplish. It's just picking up a paycheck. And I think he's going to do a lot better if he actually goes and competes in the regular Mr. Olympia. And I think he has a much better chance of winning than most people are actually predicting. He is not too small. Just to let you know, he is not too small to compete in the Mr. Olympia. He can beat Phil Heath on stage. Period. And that's just not my opinion. He doesn't have a puncher's chance. He has a legitimate chance of taking home the Mr. Olympia title. And that's just my opinion. You guys can agree with it, or you cannot agree with it. I really don't care. But let's cut out all the hatred as far as Flex Lewis not having a chance because he's been competing as a lightweight there. Because quite frankly, the chains are off there. Samson is unchained. So that means he can grow into the show. And I think when it comes down to showtime, you are going to see Flex Lewis like you've never seen him before, period. And that's all I got to say about this subject. I wish Flex Lewis the best of luck. And Phil Heath, better watch yourself. You got some hungry dogs out there wanting to chew on those bones of yours.